Alright, in lesson 44, we're working with relative pronouns. The relative pronouns are up above, and relative pronouns are like who, which, that, whom, whose, those sorts of things. And they establish clauses that relate back to the antecedent. So in this first one, whose copy of the notebook I have, that's a relative clause. And so the relative pronoun is the whose. Now, to figure out what translation it is from the chart above, we need to sort out a few things. First off, the antecedent, boy is masculine, and it's singular. Now, to figure out the case of it, we have to ignore everything outside and figure out its function within the clause. So although the boy is nominative in the subject, the whose may not be. So whose copy of the notebook I have is the verb. This is the subject and nominative. Copy is the direct object, that's accusative. Whose is showing possession, so that's going to be genitive, which would make genitive masculine singular, cuius. And the next one, the girl to whom I denied having the movie does not believe me. Alright, so there's our relative clause. Our relative pronoun is to whom, going with girl. So feminine singular. And to whom is dative. Remember, we just want to focus on what's inside the relative clause to figure out our case. So dative, feminine singular, if you look up above, is going to be cui. The girls who also found out have little faith in the existence of my virility. So there's our clause. The antecedent is girls, so feminine. Number is plural. Alright, and who found out? Who is going to be the subject in that clause, so it's going to be nominative. So nominative feminine singular is going to be qui. Boy who also found out that I liked the movie are making fun of me, so who? Boys. Masculine, plural. Nominative, qui. The notebook, which should be an instant classic, should be watched by all. There's our clause, which goes back to the notebook, which is neuter in this instance. Neuter singular. And it's nominative as well, because it's the subject of the clause. Quo. The sister whom I noticed watching me may have seen me cry at the end, so feminine singular. Whom is the direct object of noticed. So it's accusative. So accusative feminine singular is going to be quam. She who does not have a life should keep her mouth shut. Alright, so feminine singular. And it's nominative. So qui. Dudes who are real men can cry at the end of movies. Masculine singular. Nominative. Let's just redo that M. The boy from whom. There's our whole clause. From whom. From. Moving away from ablative. Boy is masculine singular. This is going to be quo. The boy to whom I said never does not realize it's mine. It is my precious. Alright, so dative masculine. Oof. Cui. So when you're trying to sort them out and you're going English to Latin, make sure you find the antecedent, which is a fancy way of saying the noun the pronoun replaces, and then that'll tell you the gender and number. But how it's used in the clause itself, within the commas, that'll tell you its case. Alright, so some sentences. Alright, so qui, there's our relative clause. The boy who is my friend lives in a large villa. Alright, the money, quai, which, and when you combo these two, perfect passive, which has been found, not is found, but has been found on the road, is mine. The road, quai, which is in the city. Is long. Now, this quote here, we've seen it as because, but now it's going to be used as a relative pronoun. The monster, which, and it's something you will get to recognize with practice, which ripped off the limbs of the small girl, was killed. Alright, so try the rest on your own. Follow along when you need to or check and get help. The girl, this is accusative. Mus is our subject, the girl. Whom we see. Is beautiful. The farmer. Alright, this is genitive. Most again is we. Whose field we worked. Was not in the villa. The island in which we live, or on which we live, is large. The book which I read is bad. Alright, and this one's a little tricky because you have to look at the main verb. You've got the am and you can't see it, but you got that I am as well. So I will find. The book. Which has been stolen. Milace, the soldier. Threw a spear in oculum pueri into the eye of the boy. Who was bad. This is going to be similar to number 9, except we do have the pronoun for I. So just because Ego and Wiram are side by side. They don't go side by side in English. I saw the man. Who was killed in the road. The blood, which was flowing out of the body or pouring. Was on the ground. The boy ripped out the eyes of the monster. Cuius, whose head was on the ground. And then the monster ripped off the head of the girl. Who slept for a long time. Alright, now I got some practice with the pronouns to this man. This is the H words, so quick. They themselves. This is an adjective immediately after the subject. It's an intensifier. His weapons, possessive, genitive, B. I saw her, accusative, not reflexive. He is similar to her. Dative, regular pronoun. What caused his death, possessive, pronoun, B. She saw her own daughter. Her own is reflexive, but it's matching this. So this should be D. Little mistake here, switch that to his. He saw his own daughter. Now this is going to be D as well, because although it's a reflexive adjective and the subject is he, daughter is still feminine accusative singular. And the adjective has to match case, number, and gender, syrup, and eggs. This is the feminine accusative singular. I myself. Alright, so it's an adjective with the self right afterward. D. We heard this noise. Look at this. Some NLE practice. These books. Cuius is whose. Illa. Now. This is going to be a little tricky. Eor and then ablative of comparison. D, then that's ship. Cuius nationis, that's genitive. C. Quae, going back to Atalanta. Nobis is dative, it is necessary for us. Se is reflexive. Narcissus was looking at A himself. Cui dative, to whom? Alright, last little bit here, home stretch. Sentences: seek, himself, fall, nation, powerful, crime, same, summer, power, run. So try out these sentences, and then when you get stuck or finish, play and go to the one that you need help with or need checked. He wants what area to see the boy who has large ears. The Romans killed the citizens. Who committed crimes? You could say did or made for fekaran, but in English we don't really say they did a crime or they made a crime. Aistate, ablative of time in the summer. There are many flowers. Alright, double the R is superlative, which are very beautiful. In the field. So it's herbs, the whole city. Which was not being defended. Was attacked by the foreigners. At night, the messenger ran to the king himself. Hikpur, this boy is not similar. Ile, to that boy. So Dem right here is saying this O is matching with that O. Many soldiers fell or died in the same battle. The powerful king decided not to cut off the limbs of the enemies. The stars in the sky showed or has shown the way to the sailors who were sailing the sea. Give help to them. So another Dem, the O ablative is matching up with Ponte, ablative of the bridge. The girl was thrown. Dom is certain. This quote is matching up with the Amane was thrown by a certain man. from the same bridge. Dem is same, the A is going with that one. The same girl. Was not able to find help. That girl. That should be a wheat tom. Oh, that shouldn't even be there. We'll take it out. That girl no longer is living. Alright. If you have any questions, let me know.